I started making films when I was about 7 years old, Super 8, epics. And I remember being about 12 when I sort of started figuring out what the job of a director was. I was thinking that's kind of what I think of as filmmaking.
What is the job of a director?
Filmmaking, just
Well, that sounds
putting images
abstract.
together. Well, but it is abstract, because the thing is, you go on a set and, I don't shoot the film, I don't record the sound, you sit there in the middle of it all trying to be a conductor or something, I don't know, trying to be helpful, trying to be a lens for everybody else's input and focus it.
Which aspect are you most comfortable with and which one are you not?
Probably being a jack of all trades, knowing a little bit about everything, but not enough about any one thing to specialize. I'm pretty comfortable being an instant expert on a bunch of different things without really digging in too much. I think being a director is a great job for mediocrity. It's like, because you have to know a lot of different things and kind of get on with people.
Do you agree with that, Mike?
Absolutely. To answer your first question, I was 12, the snow was falling, my grandfather had just died, everybody was in the house, old men were carrying the coffin down the stairs, there was a guy with a very long nose, a very long drip, and I remember thinking, this would make a great film. That's what I want to do. I want to make films about things like this.
Well, then did you make films about things like that?
Yes, and I've been making films about things like that. But I mean, I think we all probably share the same, it's an impulse to tell stories, to make things up, to get people doing things, to put on shows, to be funny, to horrify people, confronting them with stuff, all of that is in your DNA, really. And I think if I'm honest, I've been doing it since I was so high.
One thing for me, when I'm in class, because right now I'm studying film production, they come in and they say, so what do you want to do when you're done with film school? What's your goal? And the one thing for me is when I stepped into school, I wanted to be a DOP, I wanted to be a cinematographer. That was primarily the reason I went to film school, because I wanted to learn more about lighting scenes and how I could perfect that skill. It's only when I was there that I started to realize I actually want to be a director. I actually want to make films. I want to do that because I don't feel like I want to be the best person with lighting. I want to be the best person, camera operation or sound mixer. Like I'm good enough, but not the best at all of that. What I'm good at is to be able to create the source, to bring it all together, to be like a conductor, as Christopher Nolan was explaining, because that's the role of the director. What you have is a vision, and your job is to bring that vision to life by collaborating with different experts. There are people who love lighting, who love photography. There are people who love sound, playing with sound, recording sound. I grew up being into music production, and there's nothing more beautiful than shaping sound and creating music and sounds like that. And there are people who are passionate about that. And if you can bring this whole group of people to create something special, when you look at Hans Zimmer and Nolan, like when you look at how they made Interstellar, that's a beautiful movie with a lot of moving parts that different groups of people come together and create. Then you have something that's so perfect. When you look at something like The Last of Us, it's another thing whereby you just see greatness come together to create something great. But you have to know what your role is. And I think that one role that's often misunderstood is that role of a director, in terms of what is a director, what does a director do? A director is a filmmaker. A director is someone who understands that they may not be the greatest at everything, but they have to know everything. And you have to be comfortable being surrounded by people who know more than you. And one of the challenges I think that a lot of directors fall prey to is ego. Like, you can have a massive ego that stops you from becoming the best director that you can be, because you cannot allow yourself to be surrounded by people who are probably smarter and knowledgeable more than you.
Can't define the difference between the two parts of the process, but as just said, it's all about all aspects of the whole process. We don't make films by ourselves. We do make them, we collaborate with a whole bunch of other people.